daily
11th annual
one and only Fossil of the Day Awards here at COP15 in Copenhagen, Denmark. A round of applause, please, for the preceding award. It almost feels like the talks have begun again, or maybe that no progress was made last week. One or the other. But nonetheless, we have a number of Fossil Awards here on the big board, and there might be some folks who've never seen a Fossil ceremony before. Anyone in the crowd who hasn't seen the Fossil of the Day Awards show before? Welcome. Well, all those who have seen Fossil of the Day Awards before, please put your hands up. Now, if things get scary, please hold those who haven't seen the awards before so they can cope. It's a difficult process to review the obstruction and lack of progress that Fossil winners sometimes cause. We have a board here representing all the Fossil awards that were given last week. And it's important to understand that these fossils aren't isolated incidents. Rather, they accumulate over time. They're worth points. And over here on the left, you can see our current tally for first, second, and third most fossil points so far. Catherine, who's in second place right now?
We have got the Ukraine here in second place.
And in first?
Close behind Canada.
Canada in first place as we go into week 2.
Close behind Canada.
And there's some countries, I mean, Japan, for example, was not represented in fossils until Saturday.
Rare and in with the first place win on Saturday.
And there's some countries that aren't up there at all. Who knows what surprises may lurk within the fossil safe. For those who haven't been here before, the Fossil of the Day Awards are given to the countries that do the most to block progress. They are the opposite of the Oscars. Although just as famous, they're in fact a badge of shame and dishonor rather than excellence in acting and making friends with other members of the Academy. The Fossil Awards are voted on by more than 500 now NGOs that are part of the Climate Action Network International, which is a group of folks from every corner of the planet dedicated to reaching a fair, ambitious, and binding climate treaty. And the members of the Climate Action Network spend their day roaming the halls, talking to delegates, digging up what is really going on behind closed doors. Then they nominate, and then they vote. They vote, ladies and gentlemen, on which countries have done the most. Exactly. With hands raised. They vote to choose which countries have done the most to prevent the right things from happening in these climate talks. Once the voting is complete, the winners are inscribed in bulletproof envelopes, sealed in a safe, submerged to the bottom of the bay, and hidden in a cave accessible only by mermaid.
Which would be problematic if we didn't have our own resident Fossil of the Day mermaid.
Who will be joining us just after the Fossil of the Day International Anthem. If we could have the lyrics join us here on stage. Again, newcomers, welcome to learn to sing along. You might be familiar with the tune from Jurassic Park, which of course stole it from the Fossil of the Day Awards originally. Those here previously helped sing, and if we could all put our hands on our hearts as a gesture of respect to the countries that have not won Fossil Awards during these talks, let the music begin. Summon our resident mermaid. Folks, if you could ask with me, mermaid, please join us on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Mermaid, please join us.
The traditional second week mermaid summoning call. It's Hilda Tong, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the Fossil stage. Fresh from the deep, with the Fossil safe in hand. No one knows, no one could possibly know the contents of that safe except the 500 people in the room during the voting, all their friends, and anyone who's seen the press release before the event started. It's perhaps the best kept secret of the talks, much like the original negotiating text last week. I do see 3 envelopes. It looks like we'll have the traditional 3 winners. Well, there's a disappointment to know fossils have to be awarded. And I don't see an envelope for a Ray of the Day today. I should say on some days when something goes really right, it's like a sunbeam from the sky. On those days, a Ray of the Day is awarded. There have only been 2 so far in these talks. One day we hope that the ratio of fossils to rays is well, currently the ratio of fossils to rays is about equivalent to the ratio of fossil fuels to sun and other renewable energy. But we hope that that ratio changes over time. In any case, if you could join me in counting down from 7 as we reveal today's 3rd place winner. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Canada and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia taking 3rd, sharing the 3rd place fossils today for their respective last and 2nd place finish in the Climate Change Performance Index, released by German Watch and the Climate Action Network Europe. This is an evaluation of 57 industrial and developing countries who release 90% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. Saudi Arabia and Canada were dead last. Canada would have been last if Saudi Arabia had gotten any more than 0 points on the Climate Index rating scale. Canada itself is in the world's top 10 emitters, has one of the highest per capita rates of emissions, and emits not 1, not 2 tons, not 10 tons, not even 15 tons, but 23 tons of carbon per person per year, which amounts to a 34% above its Kyoto target, which was not particularly aggressive to begin with. It was supposed to be down 6% from 1990 levels. It's up 34%. I'm sorry, but on the Climate Change Performance Index, Canada and Saudi Arabia have performance issues. If you could please join us here on the 3rd place spot. It might be slightly crowded, much as the atmosphere is now crowded with carbon molecules. And you'll see them hoisting the silver cup of shame and dishonor. This is full of coal brought here from Brazil. Coal, of course, itself a fossil fuel, and the skeletons of dinosaurs, a stark reminder of those who gave their lives so that carbon could stay in the ground. It's time now for the 2nd place prize. The envelope has been raised. If we could join in a countdown from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the 2nd place winner is the European Union. The European Union. We're joined here. Of course, the European Union is a group of 27 countries currently chaired by Sweden. This is shared across all of the European Union member states. The European Union wins its dishonor for failing to address a gaping loophole in its climate target. That is the loophole of hot air. Hot air is the allowance for emissions in countries that have dipped below their 1990 levels. And if that hot air is allowed to carry over into the next commitment period of the Kyoto Protocol, this would account for 11 gigatons of carbon emissions. That sounds pretty bad to me. For Europe to retain any shred of its credibility as a climate leader, it's got to close those loopholes. And all the EU member states are responsible. The ones demanding the loopholes be kept open for demanding the loopholes be kept open, and the other ones for letting them do it. EU, get your act together, please, please. But in the meantime, go to the 2nd place spot on the fossil stage. Is there anything you'd like to share with us tonight?
If the European Union continues moving...
Close. The European Union failing to be heard at the climate talks.
If the European Union continues moving towards the lowest denominator on its climate targets, we might as well go back to the Viking Age.
European Union, ladies and gentlemen, our second place honoree. And now it's time for the grand fossil of the night. The first place oh, wait a minute. I'm getting some kind of dispatch. It sounds like there's some breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news tonight in the middle of the Fossil of the Day ceremony. It appears that at this very moment, a poll has been released. A poll of American citizens, commissioned, I believe, last week by Lake Quinlan, Greenland, I forget the polling agency.
What was the poll, Ben?
Well, the poll was of American citizens asking if they supported a strong, binding treaty to fight climate change here at the Copenhagen talks.